on Wall Street. Fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Meow. Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Meow.
So how's your picks going so far for the? Everybody's doing it now. Everybody does a sheet where they pick each round of both the men's and women's tournaments, and somebody's going to get it right. Why the puss face? Wait. Why the puss face? I mean, you're. What's wrong? Basil said.
Sucks.
Said, the tournament sucks. Both of them. Why? You like basketball. You enjoy watching basketball. You're not letting on. Something's bothering you. I know something's bothering you because you were kicking me under the table before the show and saying to me, you said, something's bothering me. It really is bothering me, and I really don't like this. So what is it? I mean, even your peacock feathers are drooping a little bit. You've got the iridescent ones that are, the plumage, and you got the underlayment feather that holds up the plumage, and you should be comfortable. You got your Basil slippers here. You've got about 3,000 tapes, even though you've only really done about 400 shows. Looks like you got about 8,000 tapes, 8,000 DVDs lying around the table. You got Dogzilla. You got Cat Kong. You got your Scrabble board. You even got the other Basil here. You've got the Basil. You've got your $20,000 piece of artwork that somehow you got from probably from Mar-a-Lago, right? Basil said. Said, yeah, I wanted a round of golf with that asshole that been there every weekend and still can't play golf. You beat him in golf? Basil's he's got a wry grin on his face. Actually, no, he didn't beat him. Basil hasn't played a game of golf since about 4+ years ago when he passed away and came back, but you'll notice he came back without any paws. Just the head and the fluffy chest and the whiskers and no little nub of a tail like Basil had. But here he is. So you got Cat Kong, and maybe you want me to read a little bit from Cat Kong. Basil said, no way. What's this? Is this got something to do with third month mania? The NCAA tournament? Well, said you might as well read Dogzilla. And forget about cats. What a year. Read Dogzilla, and if you don't want to read that, then find some damn bird book to read because of that stinking third month mania. Well, what? You haven't been picking the winners in the tournament so far? Basil said, never mind. It's got nothing to do with picking the winners. It's about home team pride. Well, let's go down and let's see. You know, gotta be somebody here you like still left around. Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll see the teams that are left. I mean, we're down to the final four for both the men's and women's. And, okay. Well, let's see. On the men's side, Villanova Wildcats, gone. Arizona Wildcats, gone. Kentucky Wildcats, gone. You're gonna rename the tournament, huh? Talk about a sourpuss. What are you gonna rename it? Dad. So give me a minute. I got to think of something really snarky. Okay, go ahead. Hey, by the way, behind the camera, Snarky, our camera dog, and also Tweety behind the camera, and you're not allowed to say that on television, especially on a kids show. Come on. Basil says, well, you know, I'm bound and due to quote him because he's the host of the show and all I am is the interpreter, co-host, and gopher. Well, there's no gophers left in the tournament. Minnesota didn't get very far, so at least that's one consolation. No prairie dogs, no gophers. But, wow. Huh. Okay, he's ready. He wrote it down for me, actually. He's so angry he can't even say it. So the tournament this year, it's called the No Cats Around Anymore. NCAA, No Cats Around Anymore. Okay. Well, who we got left? Oh. Well, wait. Well, you want to switch to talking about the Middle East? Is that a more cheerful subject than the college basketball tournaments? Basil is thinking a bit. I know he's going to come up with something because the three whiskers on his left-hand side. They actually switched places with three whiskers on his right-hand side. That's how PO'd he is. Said, okay. What was the question again? He said. Oh, you said you wanted to talk about the Middle East. So, is that a more cheerful subject than the tournament? Okay, Basil's okay. He's got something to say. Yep. Said yep. So what's you know what's going on in the Middle East? You know that A lot of people getting killed. I mean, there's nothing new there. There's a lot of drone attacks. A lot of civilians getting killed, which is usually how war is conducted. It's usually one country's kids against another country's kids, and the ones that suffer the most are the civilians. And it's never, soldiers die, but they're dying by their own choice. They're putting themselves in that position. Civilians die, and it's through no choice of their own. And I think that's just fact. But you want to talk about, okay, he wants to go back a few years to the war that was going to last about a minute and a half. That's what Don Rumsfeld said. Said we're going to walk in, and the Iraqi citizens are going to be throwing rose petals at our feet and kissing our feet and thanking us for coming in and liberating them. After we dropped bunker buster bombs on our capital city and killed about 100,000 civilians in the first couple of nights of shock and awe. So you want to talk about shock and awe? Basil said, it's something that you got to talk about because that's the genesis of all that's going on now. Because in fact, through the Iraq invasion and occupation, civil war, you had about 4 million Iraqi citizens that left. I mean, they're in a country that's devastated, where there's a civil war going on, and they picked up when they left, and they went the closest place they could go, and that would be Syria and Jordan. And where's all the trouble now? Syria. So don't think that destabilizing the country of Iraq didn't have a huge impact down the road on the country of Syria. Okay. That was the 9/11 mantra. Basil's trying to tell me that the Iraqis have a mantra. We will never forget. No, that was 9/11. We will never forget. Basil said, he said, well, think about it. 3,000, roughly 3,000 people died on those jets in the World Trade Center, in the Pentagon, when they hijacked those planes and used them as weapons of mass destruction. And Basil hasn't forgotten about the part about how George W. Bush got that August 6th, 2001 presidential daily briefing while he was down in Texas at his home in Texas for his second 5-week vacation in his first year in office. And he didn't have time to read that August 6th presidential daily briefing because the briefing essentially said, no, it didn't essentially say, it said Osama bin Laden poised to strike in U.S. using commercial jetliners as weapons. And Bush yawned and went back out to rustling up some tumbleweed and didn't pay much attention to that. But here's the thing. On the morning of 9/11, George Tenet got up, went to a restaurant for breakfast, heard about the attack, and the first thing that went through his mind was, oh my God, I hope it wasn't those guys that were going to the flight school to learn not how to fly jets, well, not how to take off, not how to land, but just how to maneuver them in the air. And sure enough, you had 19 hijackers, and 14 of them were Saudi nationals. Isn't Saudi Arabia one of the... Oh, Basil said, WTF. So what the WTF? What do you think? No, Saudi Arabia is not on anybody's list of countries to watch. They've never been, because they're a big supplier of oil to the United States. They own a lot of U.S. Treasury bills. United States administrations, going back quite a ways, are beholden to them, and they. So what's this? What's that got to do with shock and awe? Okay. I see smoke coming out of his ears, so I know something's coming. It said, all right, so 3,000, mostly Americans, killed on 9/11. 100,000 civilians in Baghdad killed on the first couple nights of shock and awe. So, if Americans can't forget 3,000, think about the Iraqis. Think about what they're thinking about. Thinking about how they feel about the United States of America dropping bunker buster bombs and killing way more, many times more civilians than those 19 hijackers, 14 of them being Saudi nationals, killed on 9/11. So that's it. Okay, said all right. I got that off my furry chest. Let's go back to the tournament. Okay. So on the men's side, you got okay. How about this? You've got Gonzaga Bulldogs. Snarky's laughing. His ears are flopping up and down behind the camera. Gonzaga Bulldogs. You've got the okay. Now Tweety's flapping his wings like crazy. You've got the Oregon Ducks. Okay. Wait a second. You sure about this? You know, we got those Gonzaga Bulldogs. Okay, Tweety, we got the South Carolina Gamecocks. And look at that, I see, whoa, spoiler alert. Men's and women's Gamecocks. We've got cocks and cockettes. Okay, and you've got, you've got the North Carolina, just for a little spice and a little bit of hacking and coughing. You've got the North Carolina Tar Lungs. Okay. Tar Lungs. Yeah. So there's a big cough out to the state of North Carolina and the North Carolina Tar Lungs. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You still can't get past that, can you? Villanova Wildcats. No cats around anymore. NCAA. Arizona Wildcats. No, I don't think so. Kentucky Wildcats. Nope. Okay. NCAA. No cats around anymore. Okay. Now, okay. Well, it's got to be a little bit of glimmer of hope on the women's side. So let's go take a look at the women's Final Four. Not too much better. Okay. You got dogs and birds. Dogs, birds, and one coughed up lung. Okay, dogs. Mississippi State Bulldogs on the women's side. You've got Stanford Cardinal. Now, why is it Cardinal instead of Cardinals? Basil said, said I got the rest of them, all of them, except for just that one. There's only one left. And seeing as it's a lady cardinal, unless I can find a male cardinal somewhere flying around, they got some problems on that in that species. So you got the Stanford Cardinal. You've got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. You got the South Carolina game. Are they game Cockettes? Wait, hold on. No, sorry. Dick Van Dyke's not around anymore. Basil said, I know, Stevenson, I know you were looking for another date with Dick Van Dyke, so you could put the cuffs on both of you, well, both your arm and Dick Van Dyke's protuberous nose. But let's stay on basketball. This is and Snarky and Tweety, they're happy. They got it. We got well, that's where Dick Van Dyke went to. He's up in the hammock along with Stephen T. Colbert, Bill Murray, Murray's team. Murray had a favorite team in the men's tournament, and they fell by the wayside. And of course, the ever popular Drew Carey, whom Basil's been calling for years now, ever since he was on the Late Late Show. Taking Craig Ferguson's spot until they came up with a new Craig Ferguson, and of course we got this dude here. We got well, we didn't get Jeffrey Peterson, but we got little Jeffrey Peterson, and he's holding on to the if we ever get on to politics today, he's got the sign "Welcome." That's well, KKK come. To Sessions Hood. Okay. So Sessions, he stepped in some poop, didn't he? I mean, he lied, didn't he? He said, no, I never talked to any of those Russians. Nope. Then later on, after he testified that under oath, he had to come back in and say, oh, you said talk? I thought you said torque. I thought you were talking about car engines. I thought you were asking me if I ever worked on any Russian cars in my lifetime, working on the torque. No. Al Franken said no. The word was talk. The question was, have you ever talked to anybody in the Russian government while you were frontman for Trump during the nominating process and then during the general election? So, got a little problem with lying there. So I guess the KKK is not the only problem he has at this point. So come on, we got to get back to this basketball thing. Okay. So on the women's side, we have the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Snarky's favorite team, I guess. Got the South Carolina Gamecocks, Tweety's favorite team, and Tweety's got two teams. Tweety's got the Stanford Cardinal, or at least the one that Basil hasn't gotten at this point. And look at the UConn Huskies. Now, how in the world? Because UConn has won, I think, 3 straight national championships. So for some of their seniors, this would be the 4th national championship. Actually, I think they've actually won 4, and this would be the 5th. Now, if they lost 1, they lost to Notre Dame in the semifinals 4 years ago, and then haven't lost a game since, except for maybe like 1 game, again to Notre Dame. And they're on a 111-game winning streak going into the Final Four. They've had some tough games in the tournament. Some of them they started out winning by about 60 in the first round. Then they won by about 30 in the second round, and that's a big drop off because they only won by half as many points in the second round as they did in the first round. Third round, here we go. Now we're getting into some troubled areas for the UConn Huskies. Third round, they won by 15 points. Now they've gone from winning by 60 to winning by 30, halved again down to 15. So in the finals, in the regional finals, they really, in fact, should have won by 7 or 8 points, which still would have left them 7 cut in half would be win by 3 or 4 in the semifinals, and then win by 1 or 2 in the finals. But they went into the regional finals against a very valiant Oregon Ducks team. Again, women's side Oregon Ducks, almost all freshmen on their team, and didn't win by 7. They won by 38. They pretty much crushed them. So UConn now, a team that for all practical purposes, by all rights, and Basil says he's still betting. He's still betting that this UConn team is not that great. I mean, they graduated a lot of seniors from last year's team, from the last national championship team, and their three top players were drafted number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the women's professional basketball draft lottery. So they were drafted 1, 2, and 3. And that's never happened in any sport, that 3 players from one college team went 1. And I can't think of any time that 2 players from the same team went 1 and 2, or even went 1 and 3. It may have happened, possibly, but certainly never number 1, number 2, and number 3. So the Huskies, here they are. They've won 111 straight games. But Basil's still picking against them. Basil says, probability going into this season was that they would definitely lose at least 1 game. They haven't yet, but there's still 2 games to go, and they've got to. Who are they playing first? I think it's the Mississippi State Bulldog, or no, you can't see that on television. Basil's saying, "What do you call a female dog?" Or it doesn't matter now because there's none of them left, but female cats. What do you call female dogs? Said, well, there you go. He didn't make up the word. Basil didn't make up the word. He's just applying it to college basketball, and he says, can't handle it, too bad. So the Huskies 111 straight wins. They only have to win 2 more games. They've got to beat the Mississippi State Bulldogettes. No, I'm not going to say bitch fight. And then the winner of the.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Wow.